So I have another story, and I think it relates to John 4, the woman at the well, Jesus meeting a woman in need. And it's a story that's in Bernul, Russia. And if you don't know where that is, I didn't, get out a world map, look at the southern tip of India, and then just look straight north.
Does that put us in Siberia?
It puts you in Siberia.
Okay.
And so this story comes into us. It's a story about Olga. Olga's an elderly woman, and she comes into a train station, and she meets a member of the Pocket Testament League, and she begins to bend down trying to kiss the feet of this member. And of course our member stops her and says, "What's going on? Tell me your story." And so Olga says, "Well, I just want to thank you because there are Gospels of John in this train station. I was on my way to the doctor and I'd left my Gospels at home, and I was very upset with myself, just so upset that I'd left my Gospels at home. And so I said, oh, the train station will have Gospels. So I came to the train station, got the Gospels, and then went to the doctor's office." So she arrives at the doctor's office, and along the way, she does what most members of the Pocket Testament League do. We say a very short prayer: "Lord, lead me to the person you would like me to share your word with. Open my eyes, just give me real eyes to see." She goes into the doctor's office, and there's a young girl with her head down, kind of closed off. And Olga sits down and begins praying and thinking about, well, I wonder if this is the girl I'm supposed to share this with. And so she takes a Gospel of John and she hands it to her. And the young girl screams out loud at the top of her lungs, just screams.
In a doctor's office.
In a doctor's office. Now you might imagine Olga thought, oh my goodness, I guess this was not the person I was to share the Gospel with. So she calms her down. She's obviously upset that she's made this young girl upset. And the young girl tells her her story. She goes, well, I need to tell you why I'm here. I'm pregnant and my boyfriend wanted to marry me, so we'd have the baby, and I didn't want to marry him. And then my boyfriend begged me to bring the child into the world, and his parents he would raise the child. And I said, no, this is my body. I can do with it what I want. So I've come here to the clinic, and just before you came in, the technicians or attendants, nurses left. I paid my money. All the pre-tests were done, and they said to me, we'll be back in 10 minutes to get you for the procedure. And so I closed my eyes and put my head down, and I said, okay, God, if you're real, you've got 10 minutes. In comes little Olga. Can I give this to you?
In that window of time.
In that window of time.
Yeah.
The remarkable thing about that is that happened in 2017. Those Gospels were printed in 2016. They were funded in the United States in 2015. So I look at that and think about, well, this is like a Bible story. It covers from America to Russia. It covers 3 different years. And I was telling that story for about 4 or 5 months before I actually got to meet the person personally who had funded the gospel production. And so I got to meet him, and I said, oh, I've been telling this story about you for months. And he said, well, it's nice to meet you too, David. What's the story? So I told him the story, and he began to get emotional, and I get emotional oftentimes when I tell that story. And he said to me, do you know why I made a donation for Gospels in Russia? And I said, no, sir, I don't. He said, the day the Pocket Testament League asked me for that donation, a very close friend of mine and his wife had had their 7th miscarriage. And their hearts were broken, and my heart was broken for them. And out of nowhere, the Pocket Testament League comes and says, would you help fund Gospels in Russia? And my friend's from Russia. And I said, sure. Are you telling me that there's a child alive in Russia today because of that motivation? And now I'm weeping as he's telling me this. And I said, I think that's what I'm telling you. And so it just, for me, these are Bible-sized stories.